Welcome back. Class is back in session for Defense Against the Dark Arts. So before we go any further into this series, we have to make this distinction first. The ego versus the enemy. A lot of times in this new age woke culture, you're going to hear the gurus and the yogis tell you you have to have an ego death.
Make some noise if you like mushrooms. Oh, yeah. All right, check under your seats.
That is simply not something that works.
Our ego is essentially a survival mechanism. What we've developed over however many thousands of years to discern what is safe, what is not safe, what are the things that we need to do to survive. I need to eat, I need to sleep, I need to protect myself against this person that's trying to harm me. The problem is when the ego becomes so overpowering, people feel like they're a slave to it. Anytime you become a slave to anything, you just want that thing to die typically. So that's where you get this ego death idea where people literally want to kill their ego.
The ego is a selfish survival instinct. It serves to keep your body alive. We're here in these meat suits because your light body cannot exist on a three-dimensional space unless you have a three-dimensional vessel to walk in. So God designed you to have this motherboard that tells you you're hungry, you're tired.
So in Hinduism, they refer to the Atman, the individual self, and then the Brahman, that divine spark that is within each Atman, each individual self. I feel like today we've gotten to the point to where we can't have an individual self that's connected, right? It's either like, oh, everything is this giant mush, or, oh no, we're all at war against each other. But the truth is always somewhere in the middle, right? We are living these individual lives, but we are connected through the same divine energy that's literally flowing through all of us,
That's
right?
so true, yeah. God doesn't want a robot, he wants you. So your ego serves to protect your individuality so that you can be a unique expression of God's light, not just another cookie cutter Christian or whatever you identify as spiritually. So while the ego serves to protect you, the enemy serves to deceive you or convince you. And the ego is not something that we want to cast off. It's more.
I didn't burp.
I bet you I got that.
I will 100% always admit when I burp. I did not burp.
I'm gonna do a replay. It's gonna be great.
I can't wait.
Okay. So the ego is actually something that we want to form a relationship to and be able to conversate with, because it's going to ask us those questions, right? Are we safe in this relationship? Am I safe in this environment, at this job? How do I feel about X, Y, and Z? Safety-wise, emotional safety, right? Physical safety. The nervous system doesn't actually know the difference. So when we perceive an emotional threat, the nervous system is going to go into that fight or flight response. The ego is going to ask those questions, and we need to be able to sit with, am I in overdrive right now? And is this actually protecting me, right? Because the ego, yes, does it hold us small sometimes? Does it keep us too safe, too comfortable? Of course. And that is up to our discretion. We get to decide how we are operating based on what the body is letting us know. The enemy, however, is going to say things like, you're not safe in this relationship, this job, da, da, da. Therefore, you need to compete with these people. You need to shut down. You need to isolate. So one way that I've found to have that bond with the ego, that relationship, is to see it as a mother figure, right? The mother is going, how many times has your mom texted you, be safe, be careful? And maybe in teenage years and in the angsty years, right? We're like, okay, mom. And it can be annoying or it can be endearing, depending on how we're perceiving it. The mother just wants to be one step ahead. It wants to have everything handled. It wants to know that you're going to be safe. And so if we can form that bond with it and grow up a little bit and stop being so resistant to authority, if you will, then we can start to recognize how much the ego actually loves and cares about us and just wants to keep us alive. Then we can start to answer those questions, right? Be honestly, because if you don't feel safe in a relationship, It could be one of two things. It could be that you're hanging out with people that are not a safe space for you to be authentic, people that are judging and shaming you, people that are competing against you. Or it could be that you're with someone that actually cares about you deeply and isn't judging you, and you're perceiving it a certain way because the enemy's voice has already gotten in and taken root. The enemy's voice is going to say things not like, are you safe, but you're gonna die, you're gonna fail, nobody likes you, they're cheating on you, all of those like end all be all situations. It's gonna feed you through almost like a panic state. You know, you get on a plane, it's like, plane's gonna crash. We are in charge of figuring out and discerning which voice is speaking. Anytime you see these principles in movies, TV shows, etc., the main character masters his craft by mastering his emotions, regulating the anger, the sadness, the fear. It's our job to recognize that fight or flight state, that defense mode, and take deep breaths, which sounds cliche and sounds simple, and it is. It's just not easy. Simple, not easy. Because when you're in the moment and you have that chemical response in the body, it takes a lot to be able to take a step back and take some breaths, especially if the situation at hand is demanding answers or a response from you. To be able to take a step back and like, I need a second to regulate yourself. Then you can recognize if the voices in your head are saying things like, you suck, I hate you. That is not the voice of the ego. But if there's some question over whether you feel safe, that might be a good opportunity for us to connect deeper with whoever we're interacting with. Or it might be an opportunity for us to check in with, are we in alignment and in integrity with the highest will? Are we keeping ourselves safe emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually?
Yeah, and I feel like for me, like I've learned to, it sounds, you hear people say, oh, crazy people talk to themselves, but kind of like talk to yourself, like have a conversation in your mind when you hear that kind of like that prodding, like, oh, you're not safe, you need to do this, you need to do that. Question it, say, why would I feel that way? Why wouldn't I be safe? What would I need to do to be safe? Once you expose the enemy, his power's done, right? It's only in the shadows that he has power. So it's the investigation, the asking questions that can be powerful to discern, okay, this is just the enemy trying to ruin everything.
Yeah, so true. It's in isolation that those voices start to become more real. At the end of the day, make sure that you are not isolating, pushing people away, especially when those voices start to come to the surface. It might be old stuff, it might be generational stuff, and it doesn't belong to you. You are rooted in the ultimate truth, which is that you are a child of love.
We tend to just push things off to the side because it's inconvenient. It's never the right moment to look at something and to unpack it, to see what's going on with it, where it came from.
Then it all just stacks on top of each other.
Yeah.
And for me, I'll take really long breaks sometimes between my meditation practice, and it's always a mess. It gets really messy when I do that. So even if you can take just a couple moments, when you wake up before you go to sleep, to do that inner reflection, you'll be able to remind yourself, hey, I'm actually not on defense, I'm on offense, right? We have the ball and we've always had it. I can keep regulating my body to a state of, I'm okay, I'm safe. And when that voice comes, it's kind of like, what a joke.
Yeah, putting on your armor.
So next, I'm really excited. We're going to be getting into the armor of God. And one of the things we're going to talk about is the ridiculous spell from Harry Potter against the Boggarts, which are entities that appear as your greatest fear. So even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, this is all going to make sense. Sometimes the spiritual concepts are just so brilliantly and creatively expressed through the movies. If you didn't know, that's where Defense Against the Dark Arts actually came from. It's Harry Potter. So stay tuned for the next video, and we'll see you on Fridays at 7:15 in downtown Lake Worth at the Metaphysical Bible Study.
Wah, 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 wah.